Hey there, and welcome back to the Trav's Outfitter podcast. As if you've seen the podcast before, if you've watched on YouTube, you'll know that we're not in our conference room, our usual spot. We are actually in the corner of the new store in Rapid City in the boot area, and we're celebrating the grand opening this week. It's been an exciting week full of celebrations. We cut the ribbon on Tuesday. We got an event tonight, and it's just been really great to welcome the community in, and great to bring the Trav's Outfitter podcast on the road. I'm your host, Shane Carlson. I'm sitting here with Trav's Outfitter owner, Travis Youthy, and the Trav's Outfitter Rapid City General Manager, Dusty Hirsch. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's, it's here. Trav's Outfitter Rapid City is open. What's this week been like for you guys?
Well, I tell you, it's been a long time in the making, and it's a blessing. We're here, and it had a lot of good folks come through our doors and made a lot of good impressions, and everyone did phenomenal. So it really is a blessing to be here.
Travis, I remember asking you when we were here about a month ago for the soft opening. Did you ever remember back in 2003, when Trav's Outfitter first started out of your own garage, if you ever thought in your wildest dreams that you'd have multiple locations? And I want to ask you that question again because I'd like the viewers and the listeners to hear that response.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I worked in retail for the same people for over 18 years, and it was a tightly held family business, and we had opened a second location in Huron, South Dakota, and we were there for about 4 or 5 years. And then I convinced my other two partners to move it to Sioux Falls. We just couldn't get any growth in Huron. Every year, the business just kind of dropped off. And so we opened a store in Sioux Falls, and it was hard to kind of get it rolling, but we were just finding our range in Sioux Falls, and they decided to close. And when they decided to close all operations, I left that partnership with a lot less resources than what I was promised. And in December of 2003, spring of 2004, I was just hoping to open a business and stay in business. We had limited resources. We had a bank and a banker that believed in us. But those were very, very lean times. I don't have a rich uncle. I don't have rich parents. And so it was completely on me. And there were many times, and I shared this with you, when I was a young man, I'd always dreamed of having multiple locations and being a big operator and going to market. And when I walked down the halls of the market, people would want to talk to me because there was a business advantage for talking to me. And that was a young man's way of looking at multiple locations. We've been blessed in Watertown. We've moved from my garage to 3,000 square foot of space, and then 4,000 square foot of space. And then, we opened a new store in 2018 in Watertown at 28,000 feet. And we've been really blessed with continued success in Watertown. But we started looking at expansion possibilities, and Rapid City was always on the short list of places that we thought we would want to go. And I've said this in other interviews, Rapid City is such a unique community in the fact that it's still very Western, it's very rugged, it's very wholesome. Not that Rapid doesn't have problems, but overall. And then Rapid City, folks, those of you that I love history, but at one time you had Western Way Work Warehouse and RCC, Rapid City Clothing, both duking it out in this marketplace, and they were both successful. And both of those companies are gone. And the consumer, not just that lives in Rapid City in the Black Hills area, but those that travel 100, 150, 200 miles to come here to shop, have really been, in my mind, starved for choices and definitely starved for appreciation and service. And so we were looking at Rapid City, and then we were pretty serious about another community. It was actually way closer to Watertown. Would have been way easier. But I'm so glad that we selected Rapid. Dusty has been just an absolute godsend from us. The rest of the team that Mike and Dusty hired, our management team, they're just so dedicated to what we're doing. And I've just had so many confirmations along the way that the decision that we made was the right one.
And Dusty, you come from a healthcare background. So what's it been like for you to make that transition from working healthcare to now managing a retail store that specializes in workwear, Western wear, and something just far, far different than what you were used to?
Well, it's definitely different healthcare, but what's the same as a Travis Outfitter way is my brand is world-class customer service. So it without a doubt overlaps one another a lot. So as long as we can, take care of the customer and they take care of us, it's, like I said, Travis said we got a great team. So hasn't been that much of a challenge yet. I say that. I don't sound conceited, but it's been a lot of work, but we've got a great team. So yeah, we're doing what we do, and we're going to continue to get better every day.
Was there a moment for each of you where it was like, okay, pen to paper, it's been signed, we're doing this is for real? Was there a moment that stands out to either of you like that?
For me, I suppose I've been in this building all summer, and I've seen it slowly transition and getting the first, they came 2 months early, but the first 60 boxes of product. None of that was really the moment yet, I don't think, until the walls went up and the paint kind of went in and the gondola started going, and we had about 15 employees working 40, 45 hours a week, getting the store up. That was, you see, Travis and Mike, and I'd see the blueprints, hear their vision, to see with my own eyes. It was one of the best feelings I've had in a long time.
Was there a moment like that for you too, Travis? Like, okay, this is finally happening. We're for real now. We burned the boats. We're not going back.
Yeah. There's some of that. We sign a 5-year lease, and it's $33,000 a month. And we were thinking the build-out costs would be $300K, and they're going to be more. They're going to be closer to $600K. It's a big. It's still. We got great bankers. We got great banking. We're in a great equity position. So none of that is a fear, but there is that reality that we got to sell. And I'm probably the most emotional part was the day we opened, when I prayed with our staff. I was super emotional that day, and I'm an emotional guy, but just praying a blessing over this place, and that we would bless those that come here. And that's the part of it. It's at home. It's not been real easy. My wife she's not a risk taker like I am, and so that's been kind of hard to navigate. And one time she was really she was nervous about it, anxious, and she said, "I just don't understand. At 55 years old, why you got to do this, right?" And I said, first off, God made me the way He made me. But I said, it's the first thing I've ever done that, yes, we have to sell. Yes, it has to show a profit. But it's the first thing I've ever done in my life that's been, I think God's sending us here to make a difference in people's lives. And I still believe that. I believe it more every day. And I'm not trying to sound arrogant or conceited when I say that either, but every person has a different mission field, and I guess for me, being a retail business owner is part of my mission field. And I look at how our team, how eclectic it is. God sent every one of those people to us for a reason. And yes, we're paying them to help us forward the position of Trav's Outfitter, but He sent them to us for another reason, Dusty. I just believe that. And so, and because I believe that, even though there's anxious times, right? We're just a month in, and some days are really, really good. They're off the chain. And some days are like, holy smokes, what the heck did we do? I still believe that we're in the right place for the right purpose at the right time. And I believe God's going to bless that. And ultimately, He knows that it takes money to make this deal work, and He wants good for us. I believe that. And so, yeah, I don't know if there was a one time, but there were some challenges. There were nights where I didn't sleep well, and I take those thoughts captive, and I'm a praying person, and so I was like, I just prayed to Jesus to, make the devil go away, because he's the one that was making me doubt. So, no, it's great. It's big. It's expensive. It's beautiful. People are loving it. I mean, haven't seen a single person in here say they didn't like it. And so I think we're going in the right direction.
You kind of touched on this a little bit earlier, Travis, but when you were, processing what a possible expansion looks like, where that might be, possible locations, what impressed you about the Rapid City market when you were doing your market research?
I've said this before, and it's a this is not scientific, but it's what my heart tells me. We tried an expansion into Minneapolis, St. Paul, actually into Fridley, 15 years ago, I suppose. I didn't wait on the Lord. I didn't pray to the Lord about it. I just had it in my mind. There's 3.2 million people in Minneapolis, St. Paul, and we can run 2 boot trucks, and we're just gonna roll in the money, right? I wasn't prepared. The management team wasn't intact. I just wasn't ready, and I didn't wait on the Lord. With Mike Fairchild, our general manager, all the things that he's helped us with EOS and everything else, I just knew we were prepared, and we approached 9 different companies that were operating to see if they were maybe at the age where they might want to sell. And so we had done one acquisition of a competitor in St. Paul, and it went really well. And so we were like, well, instead of trying to start something on our own, why don't we see if we can acquire somebody else? And it seemed like each person we talked to, they just weren't interested in selling. That's fine. It's their business, their prerogative. We don't hold any ill will there. But the one thing that I love about Rapid City and the Black Hills area is that people are still pretty genuine. And I believe this, and I've done a lot of reading, but I believe this, that as a community moves from a town to a city, to a big city, to a metro area, the more you compact people together, the more challenges you have socioeconomically, socially, and people just, and I'm not here at all to be critical of Minneapolis, St. Paul, but no matter where we went in Minneapolis, St. Paul, each person we talked to, without exception, was so jaded. We would go in there and talk to them about what we were doing, and they'd be like, yeah. You could see it in their eyes. They'd be like, yeah, I've heard that before. Yeah, I've heard that before. And it's been nothing like that here. Each person that we talk to, we've got outside sales team. Dusty's been working on some stuff. Tim, another one of our managers, has been working on stuff. We haven't had any of that. And people are like, yeah, I get it. I understand what you guys are trying to do. And so that was the other thing that drew me to Rapid City. Like I say, Rapid City isn't perfect. I don't have rose-colored glasses on. There's brokenness everywhere in this world, but there's still people that are genuine, a lot of them, and that's what Trav's Outfitter is. We're genuine, and I just think it's going to be a really, really great marriage.
Absolutely, yeah. You guys said before we opened, Rapid City needs this, and every day I've got customers, one customer, maybe 15 customers said, this is exactly what the Black Hills needed, was your style of retail, and we're here now.
Yep.
And I'm interested to hear your perspective, Dusty, because you've lived in the Black Hills most of your life, if not all of it. And what's it been like? Obviously you knew what it was like before Trav's Outfitter stepped foot in Rapid City. And what's that been like? You kind of touched on the response from people, but kind of from your perspective, I think it's unique in that you've grown up here. Yeah.
Well, Travis mentioned earlier with the Western Way, RCC Western Warehouse as well. how they were here. And I remember shopping there with my folks when I was young. I didn't really wear the Western clothes, but so many people do. And if they don't wear them every day, they surely wear them during the stock show or the rodeo or whatever it may be, or to a wedding. I think before us, with retail here in Rapid City, specifically footwear, so many people, me included, it was a wake-up call. I wear huge feet, right? I've been wearing this wrong size shoe. I need a 15 out of 14. I wouldn't have known that if I didn't spend a week in Watertown. Spent several weeks in Watertown, but the week I was there on the sales floor, I wouldn't have known that. And it's funny, just the first couple weeks we've been open, we've had multiple people get into a boot. They need a bigger size boot. It's just little things like that maybe a little for us, we'll forget about it after a few minutes, but the people, when they go home, they tell their wives, their husbands, say, I got a boot. I've been wearing the wrong size boot for how long? No wonder my feet hurt. Things like that, just small things that are actually big things for the community. So, to answer your question more specifically, though, I think here in Rapid City, there's just not enough places to get that world-class customer service, at least what we're offering. There's great places to eat and shop in Rapid City. I'm not downgrading anyone else, but we just take it to that next level. Like that's our niche, and we exploit that.
Talk about the team that has helped make this possible. From the contractors to the team in Watertown helping train the team that's here in Rapid City today, to the team in Rapid City coming together within, I don't know, the last couple months, couple weeks, and gelling together to make this all happen.
Well, first off, what a blessing Watertown folks have been. Not just Travis and Sherry and the boys, Tate and Sheldon, but all of the people, you included, all the staff in Watertown. We sent a lot of people to Watertown this summer, and no expenses spared. Like, we sent them out there and let them work out there for a week and brought them out home. Some of them, I was out there for a month, I think. Everyone top down was top notch. Like, we learned the Trav's Outfitter way. Very important for me and my management crew to have, we do the Trav's way in Rapid City. Trav's way isn't a Watertown thing. It's a Travis UC thing. And as long as his name is outside that door, we do it the right way. So it's a pride thing. And to work for me, you got to have that pride. And to touch on that, the staff in Rapid City, we started hiring back middle of July. Got our management crew hired, and then the full-timers and part-timers came along, and phenomenal. We just, the reps we've had in here this week from Keen and Reebok, and they're all like, wow, you guys what a great team. How hard was that? And I said, I don't know if it was hard, but we did things the right way. We had a lot of applicants for that, and that's the thing. So many people applied. They wanted to work for Travis Outfitter. They wanted to be here, so that was a true blessing as well, to go through the applicants and interview as many people as we could and bring them in for a second and sometimes a third interview, just to make sure we were doing the right things. And I feel very good about the folks that we've hired.
And Travis, you're not really in the day-to-day of the hiring process and assembling the team. You have some, obviously you can have your opinions and have those heard still, but you're kind of in the contractor world. You kind of piece that contractor piece together. So what was that like, kind of drawing on resources and people that you knew from Watertown, but also trying to build relationships here in Rapid City to get this put together?
Yeah, that was, I knew that it would be somewhat challenging. My wife and I bought a property in 2018 just outside of Deadwood. And we wanted to build a shed out there. And we definitely had some challenges hiring contractors. And ultimately, on our project out there, we ended up using contractors that we used for other projects over on the east side of the state. We just paid for them to come over, paid their travel, paid their hotels, put them up in the cabin, whatever it took. On this project, we knew that we wanted to use people locally, because at the end of the day, the people that we use for HVAC and electrical and plumbing, and those are all potential customers. And so some of that was challenging. There's no doubt about it. The people part of it, after being in retail for 40 years, there are some things I'm good at, some things I'm still very bad at, and there's some things I really love to do, and there's some things I don't care to do. And I still have a love for human beings, I do, but I don't care. I don't want to be I don't want to interview people. I don't want to select people. And frankly, I think that Mike Fairchild, our general manager, Dusty, we use EOS, Entrepreneurial Operating System, which gives us a framework to use each time we interview people. They're much better at it than I am. And as a business owner, I'll be honest with you, sometimes that letting go is probably harder than people realize it is. Even though I know I'm not good at it and I know that I don't really like it, there's a huge level of trust that I have to have when I let go and I let Mike and Dusty assemble this team. But there again, that didn't happen by happenstance, right? I mean, it took a lot of time and prayer and because I had to get my mind right, and I don't want to be that guy, and hopefully Dusty feels that way. He's the general manager of this place. When I come here, I try to gently guide and adjust. We talk about things. I don't ever want to overrun Mike or Dusty or my two sons that are in the business. I don't want to do that. That's not how I don't think that's how you be a good leader. And so, I guess it proved to me, not that I needed a lot of convincing, but it proved to me that once you get to a certain size, and Trav's Outfitter is definitely to that certain size, I can't touch everything. And I've just got to trust that the people that we hire will do things, like Dusty said, the Trav's Outfitter way.
Yeah, before we started the interviewing, I read the EOS and talk about right people, right seats, and that was very close and personal to me. The thought long and hard about who I need and the seats that I need to fill, and it all worked out.
Dusty, you kind of touched on this a little bit earlier. Interactions from customers and maybe for you, Travis, from vendors that have come in this week. Is there anything specific that you talked to them about that you were just, they kind of made certain like, yes, this was the right decision. It affirmed the Trav's Outfitter way is working. Anything like that this week so far?
I've talking about the values of Trav's Outfitter. I've had a lot of striving for excellence. Right, people coming in here want to check us out. Like, this is where I go. Red Wing, and that's great. Let's talk about Red Wing, and Red Wing's a great boot. Bring them in here. Maybe they don't buy anything, but we get them to try a few pair of boots on. They know what we're about, right? We get on our hands and knees. Maybe the only place in Western South Dakota that does that. Check the size of their boot, make sure it's the right fit. Just blow them away with that. Showing compassion for others, right? Compassionate for them. They come in here and be able to get $120 in their pocket. Well, we got a table full of $99 boots right now. Like, what a blessing that is for those folks. So, yeah, there's been a lot of realizations over the last couple of weeks and even before then, actually. Just reaffirms the correct decisions were made.
And for you, Travis, you had some vendors in this week. I mean, what's the reaction been from them?
Yeah, from my seat, I got to be careful because I don't want this to come across as arrogant. But the fact of the matter is there have not been any or very, very few new stores opened by independent retailers in our 5-state trade area that most of our reps cover in years.
Wow.
In years. And so for us to make this a pretty bold move in the retail footwear and apparel industry, to make a bold move, and we didn't do it in a 5,000 square foot space. We did it in a 33,000 square foot space. And the reason we did that is we knew that was the impression we were going to have to make in order for people to step back and take notice of what we're doing. And I believe the biggest reason that independent retailers are not expanding is because they haven't been willing to embrace what we've embraced, in the fact that we want to be at the very best, most fair, equitable pricing that we can be. But we're never going to go out. That's not the Trav's Outfitter way. You're going to go out and scream that we're going to match everybody's lowest price. That's not us. We've had lots and lots and lots of people approach us and say, we want to buy X amount of boots from you. We want to buy this from you. We want to buy this from you. What's the discount? And our response to that is come in here, experience how we take care of people. And I think that you'll find that that's your discount. Your discount is a service that you get, that your employees will be wearing shoes that fit them, that if your employees have a problem with a pair of shoes, they're going to get taken care of. And then the other thing that I believe that I haven't said to anybody, but I'm going to say it on this podcast, I've said it for years, as soon as any of our competitors are willing to match our selection and service levels, they'll be the same price as us or more. They will be, because it costs money to deliver what we're delivering.
Absolutely.
Now, I would say this. I'm not saying at all that Trav's Outfitter is overpriced. The internet is the equalizer. We live and die by what the internet says. But I believe this. I believe if we're $5, $10, even $15 more on a pair of boots and you can buy it on Amazon, but we've got a knowledgeable salesperson that's waiting on you, and if you ask them a question and they can't answer it, they'll go find somebody that can. And if the next person you go to can't answer it, they dial me up on my cell phone and we answer it for you. If that isn't worth $5 or $10 or $15, then frankly, maybe you're an Amazon customer, not a Trav's Outfitter customer. And I know that sounds really, really arrogant, and I'm not arrogant. I'm very, very humble. But I believe that much in what we're doing, that at the end of the day, I see people in here all the time with their phones. I know what they're doing.
Yeah.
And that's okay. It's no problem. But at the end of the day, I think what they're going to find is they're going to be like, holy smokes. Yeah, these guys are $5 more or $10 more. And many times we're the exact same price. They're going to be like, well, this is a no-brainer. I gotta start shopping here.
Yeah.
So
that sounded a lot to me like one of the core values of Trav's Outfitter of delivering value is what that was.
yeah, and we use that. That's our number one core. We have 3 core values, and deliver value is our number one core value for a reason. Because value, the word value, doesn't speak to cheap price or cheap product. The word value is, what are you really obtaining for the hard-earned dollar that you've earned and now you're spending? We get that all the time. We've done that in training. People come in and they're like, well, this boot's $99, this boot's $200, so this one's going to last twice as long. No. And we're quick to explain that. A $200 boot, in many cases, will last a little longer than a $100 boot, but it's all about the input costs. It's about the quality of the laces, the quality of the leather, the quality of the cushioning. That's what. But that's our value proposition. You can't go anywhere else, and somebody explains that to you. I use the analogy all the time. I love tools. I love working in my shop. And if you go to, I'll just use Menards as example, could be Lowe's, Home Depot, doesn't matter. And you go there, and I've been in business for 40 years, but I decide I want to go buy a power drill, okay? So you can go into those places, and they're lined up left to right, and you got one at $29.95, and you go clear over here, and it's $459. And I've been in retail for a long time, and so I'm like, well, I don't want to spend $29.99 because I don't want it to fail on me. But I don't want to spend $459 if I don't have to spend $459, right? So what happens is we go down this continuum of drills, and we try to land on one. We try to make the decision in our own mind which drill is going to be the best value. But there's no one there to explain to me how or why I should buy a $100 drill, a $130 drill, a $180 drill. I don't know what those components are. I don't know that some of those brushes are made cheaper or the gears inside the drill are made out of hard plastic instead of metal. I don't know any of that, right? And so what ends up happening is I probably end up buying less drill than I really want because there was nobody there to explain to me why I should spend $20 more.
Right.
And that's that is anti-Trav's Outfitter. We believe a value is, and I'll talk about this. We talked about this yesterday when I spoke for that luncheon. If somebody comes in here and their feet are hurting them and their shoes aren't shot, and we get on our hands and knees and we verify the fit of the shoes that they're wearing and they're wearing the right size, we're not just automatically going to sell them a new pair of boots. We're going to try to analyze their foot. We're going to try to figure out if they need an arch support. We're going to try to figure out all these different things, right? And the reason for that is because at the end of the day, we're not here to just put shoes on people's feet. Yeah, that's how we pay our bills. But we believe if we take care of that person with an arch supportive insole and we fix their foot pain, we're going to sell them the next 15 pair of boots that they want to buy. That's what value is to me.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. They're gonna tell their friends and their neighbors and their coworkers, and that all takes time. But we're here for the long run. Like Travis said, we have a 5-year lease, and we'll be here well beyond 5 years as well. So doing it right off the gate, we're no expense spared. We're doing the right things.
Bringing it back to this week, what were some of the expectations for both of you, if you had any? And then do you feel like they've been met or exceeded?
I think my expectations simply were everyone that walks through those doors underneath that Trav's Outfitter logo gets world-class customer service. And I feel like we exceeded that. I think we, Tuesday was a little hectic. We had the food trucks here, and we fed a lot of folks, which is awesome to see. A lot of good people that I've known for a long time came to, give us well wishes, and we got the flowers and everything. But back to your original question, I think everyone who came in here looking to be their hair blown back, I think everyone's did. I think we had a lot of good feedback and a lot of good people walking out the door saying, either we bought today or we'll be back on payday, or when it's their cycle to get a boot or whatever it may be, they'll be back. So we're going to have a lot of firsts, this first 12 months of our first stock show, our first grand opening, our first everything. So had a great week.
Travis, how about your expectations?
Well, my expectation was don't cry. I'm a weeper. I hate that. In this thing, I'm passionate about this thing. I'm passionate about my family. I'm passionate about the new family I have here at Trav's Outfitter. And when I get that way, I become weepy, and I hate that about my personality. But that's the way God made me, and so I was anxious, really, really anxious most of Tuesday because it was like, don't cry, And it's not that I'm ashamed of myself when I cry. I just didn't want to. But also I know that if I don't let my emotions show, then I would have left Tuesday feeling like it was superficial. Mm-hmm. And you guys both know me pretty well, and I'm just not a superficial guy. I'm a let's go deep guy, and so a couple times in my little speech there, I choked up a little bit, but I was like, come on now. That's the expectation is don't cry. So anyways, yeah, we couldn't have asked for more. We couldn't have asked, I don't think, for more people. I mean, many people commented that they just don't get that size of crowd at a ribbon cutting that we had.
Oh, yeah.
And that was the same thing when we cut the ribbon in Watertown, too. In Watertown, and we've been there for a long time, we had 250 people at our ribbon cutting in Watertown.
Wow.
I mean, it was off the chain. And so, just thankful that they've come out, wished us well, and we know that it's our job. We knew that before Tuesday, but it's just our job to live up to those words that I said and those expectations that we've put in people's minds.
And part of Tuesday was special for both of you. You both had your families here. Dusty, you had some of your family here. I saw them eating out on the front patio area. And Travis, your family, including your parents, made the drive all the way out here. Can you touch on what that means to you and what those moments with them meant personally?
with my family, originally I was in retail, actually 15 years with a big box retailer, and I got out of retail, and then, no weekends, no evenings, but you miss that, right? When you're got that competitive spirit like you guys got inside of you, you long for those sometimes. Yeah, I'm not saying every weekend, every evening, but the juices kind of came back flowing for me. So when I talked to my folks and my wife, and my son, who's never known me as a retail guy, I left retail when he was born, and we were pregnant with him. They're like, "Are you sure?" And I said, "I am sure. This is what I need." And to have them here to support, because they knew how important it was to me, it makes all the difference. My little guy's been sick for a while here, a couple weeks now, so my wife stayed home with them. But my dad and some very good friends that are neighbors came out and to support and bought a bunch of stuff while they're here. So thank you for that. But and no, it was great, and to see Travis's and Tim had some family that traveled a long ways from Watertown to come on to be here. Makes a big difference.
Travis, what was that like for you? I know, your parents drove all the way out here across the state. I know that they've been supportive of you. What does that mean as a whole to have them here on such a special day?
Yeah. I'll say it again, don't cry. I've been really, really blessed. My father is one of the best humans that I'll ever know this side of heaven. I mean, I saw him praying with staff members. And when he gave me a hug, he just wept. He just shook. And, to have a father that tells you that he's so incredibly proud of you is such a blessing. There's so many men that don't have that. And that's not lost on me. And that's part of the reason why I am who I am. And so, yeah, it's great. It's great to have your family involved in the business, but it's really hard. I'm going to tell you guys, it's really hard because you never get away from it. And when there's personality conflicts between members of your family and staff, and hard decisions have to be made. My family's endured a lot since I started this company, and that's the part for me that makes it really emotional. Is from my position, it's never been 40 hours a week. I mean, never. And many people probably don't realize it, but my sleep pattern is so horrible. I share this with people. I'm usually completely shot by 9:30, 10 o'clock. But I wake up every morning between 2 and 2:30, and I cannot get to sleep. And so I'll spend an hour and a half in the middle of the night. I'll get up. I'll write down thoughts that I got to get out of my head. I got to clear my head to try to get back to sleep. I meditate, I pray, I read scripture. But that's working time. In the middle of the night, I'm working. And so, I'm 55. My hope, my plan is we've got great people around here. I never want to be an absentee owner, but I'm hoping in the next 5 years, we will have our staff trained up. They'll be just rock solid. And we've got 2 sons involved in the business. And, I hope to, not step away, but I really want to get to 2-3 days a week. I've been at this retail thing since I was 15 years old. And I know it sounds crazy. We're sitting in this place and it's only been open 31 days or whatever it's been. And the guy that owns the place is talking about working 2 to 3 days a week. Mm-hmm. But I believe that if we select the right people, if we train them, if we empower them, if we show them love and they know that we have their back, I think it's doable. I mean, even if I get to the point I work 2 days a week, I still have a cell phone and I still take phone calls, right? So that's what's important to me. My parents are in their mid to late 70s, and there's been a lot of times that they live 20 miles from where my wife and I live, and sometimes I'll go 2 weeks without seeing them. And I need to change that. Those are the things that I get reminded of on days like Tuesday.
Last question before we start to wrap up this podcast. What do you want the message to the viewers and the people watching this on YouTube to be about Trav's Outfitter?
Best selection, best service, no BS. That's through and through. I know it sounds simple.
Do you work for the marketing department now?
It's on the back of our shirts. I love simplicity. Keep it simple, right? And we will blow you away. Come see us. Come meet my staff. I don't care if it's a part-timer or a full-timer, one of my salary managers. We all know what's in store. We all know how to deliver on that world-class customer service. And just give us a shot.
Yeah, I guess my deal, we've talked about it a lot, but we're different. I say the word we're different all the time. And a lot of people in this world, they strive to be different, but they strive to be different in ways that are harmful. And I'm sad for that. I truly am. We strive to be different in a way that is helpful. We strive to be different in a way that makes people's lives better. And does that cost money? Yeah. And is it hard? Yeah. But I still believe, I said this the other day, I still believe retail, brick and mortar retail is not dead. The reason that brick and mortar retail is struggling is because they don't train people. They don't treat them with respect. They have to take their hit. I'm a recovering alcoholic. They have to have their hit. We got to have a sale every weekend. Well, the reason they have to have a sale every weekend is because they got to sell for less because they don't have staff to take care of people to justify a higher price, right? And so that's my final thing, is that we're different, but we're different in a good way. And we think that when it says something like this in Scripture, taste and see that the Lord is good. And I would challenge people, taste and see that Trav's Outfitter is different in a better way.
Well, that's going to wrap up our episode of the Trav's Outfitter podcast. We thank you for watching on YouTube, on our social media channels. If you're listening to us on audio like Spotify or Apple Podcasts, wherever you like to listen, we appreciate you listening and watching, and we hope you stop into the store in Rapid City, check out the team here, check out what they offer here in the store. And I have to plug our social media channels. We have Rapid City on Facebook as well as Instagram, so you can catch us on there and see content daily, and just stop in and give Trav's Outfitter Rapid City a shot. I think you're going to like what you see.